Now, the National Union for Students failed to tackle anti-Semitism. That's according to an independent report. It says Jewish students have been subjected to harassment and that NUS policies were breached. Now, today, the NUS has apologised. Meanwhile, the Union of Jewish Students have said the report is damning. Well, let's talk to Dom Casoria, who's the Lancaster University Jewish Society president. Really good to see you. Look, what can you tell us about actually what has happened here? What cases of anti-Semitism have actually come to light?
So basically, this report was put together from a bunch of nominations and submissions by Jewish students up and down the country. Both present students and past students have all been involved in the National Union of Students. And we all basically gave our submissions in terms of how we felt at different conferences, the ways that we were being isolated, and the different ways in which we were made to feel like we weren't very welcome in the student movement. We've seen throughout history that Jews aren't very welcome in the student movement, especially at the moment. So it's not very surprising that the report found that the NUS had been a hostile environment to Jewish students. However, now it's looking at what NUS does next to really fix that. Myself, I've been involved in NUS for 6 years and I've been at their conferences every year. And there has also been times that I've felt left out and I've put my submissions forward to that report as well. And I know that my Jewish students here in Lancaster are also looking to see what NUS does next to tackle this because they feel very unwelcome within this movement.
Right. It's interesting you say it's no surprise to you. Your viewpoint is very different from someone like mine. I'm not Jewish. But I am absolutely shocked. I've got to be honest, I am shocked that in 2023, and particularly within an organisation like the NUS, which is, you know, historically a bit left-leaning and all the rest, as students often are, and it's their right to be so, I'm really surprised that this is something which has been allowed to continue for a period of time, that Jewish students have felt unwelcome and not brought in under the umbrella of the NUS.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad. But to me, like I said, it wasn't shocking. I've spoken to Jewish students around the country for numerous years about the NUS, and I've always stayed inside the NUS to try and fight our cause and to make sure that anti-Semitism got better within the movement. The report concluded that over 17 years, there'd been a failure to protect Jewish students. And this is also the 8th report. This isn't the first report. For many, many years, I've been screaming at the top of my lungs, along with the Union of Jewish Students, along with other JSOC presidents, that NUS sometimes has a problem with anti-Semitism and that they weren't solving it properly. So it's really looking at what they do next for the wider culture, because there is a wide culture in this. The report recognised that at certain times the NUS dealt with far-right extreme anti-Semitism, but it's also let us down when it comes to acknowledging far-left anti-Semitism. So it's about tackling it all and really making sure there's a cultural shift within the student movement to welcome Jews into the movement.